Can you believe it? The multi-trillion-dollar tech giant we know today, the very company that made the iPhone resting in your hand, was once just 90 days away from bankruptcy. Yes, it was 1997. Apple was gasping for air, with no one, not even those within the company, believing the Cupertino giant could survive. Yet, at its darkest hour, a man who had been cast out by his own brainchild returned. Dressed in a black turtleneck, he walked onto the stage and changed the world forever. The story of Apple isn't merely about circuits or microchips. It's an epic saga of insane persistence. It all began not in a glamorous lab, but in a cramped, dusty garage in Los Altos, California. There, two young men worked: Steve Wozniak, a technical genius with a magical touch, and Steve Jobs, a visionary with an innate talent for sales. In the 1970s, computers were massive, cold machines reserved solely for large corporations or governments. But Jobs and Woz shared a wild dream: to bring computers to every individual, placing them on every desk in every home. They aimed to make technology friendly, personalized, and artistic. This vision led to the birth of Apple Computer on April Fool's Day, 1976. To raise capital, they sold an old van, and even their pocket calculators. The introduction of the Apple I, followed by the groundbreaking Apple II, truly created an earthquake in the industry. They embodied the innocent yet passionate enthusiasm of youth, not merely selling computers, but offering a tool to unleash creativity. The pinnacle of this early phase arrived in 1984 with the birth of the Macintosh. Jobs demanded perfection, from its hardware to its user interface, desiring users to say hello to their computers rather than typing dry command lines. Apple swiftly became an icon of innovation, directly challenging the era's tech giant IBM. The dream born in that small garage seemed to have touched the stars, as Apple went public, minting hundreds of millionaires overnight. Yet, precisely at the peak of this dazzling glory, shadows began to creep in. Too much success too quickly often comes with a steep price. As Apple grew, it needed professional management more than the spontaneous enthusiasm of its young founders. Steve Jobs famously invited John Sculley, then CEO of Pepsi, to lead the company with the legendary question: "Do you want to sell sugar water for the rest of your life? Or do you want to come with me and change the world?" Ironically, these two talented individuals proved to be like oil and water. Sculley was a man of numbers, safety, and profit, while Jobs was dedicated to perfection, art, and at times, an extreme, even dictatorial, approach. Their conflict escalated when the Macintosh failed to meet sales expectations, forcing the board of directors to choose between them. Painfully, they chose Sculley. In 1985, Steve Jobs, the very soul of Apple and the company's co-founder, was fired from the place he had created. Imagine that feeling, waking up one morning and losing everything: your power, your brainchild, and your reputation. Jobs later admitted it was the bitterest pill of his life, leaving him feeling betrayed, adrift, and publicly disgraced before the entire world. Without Jobs, Apple became like a ship without a rudder. They launched a series of disjointed, unremarkable products: cameras, music players, game consoles, none of which truly succeeded. From its position as an innovator, Apple descended into chaos, suffering continuous losses. It lost its identity, its unique essence, and its stock plummeted uncontrollably as rivals like Microsoft rose powerfully. Apple became a soulless entity, awaiting either acquisition or bankruptcy. It was a dark period that no one who loved the Cupertino giant wishes to recall. But life always holds the most unexpected twists. During his 12 years of exile, Jobs never faltered. He founded Next and acquired Pixar, honing his leadership and learning patience. In 1997, a desperate Apple bought Next to salvage its outdated operating system, inadvertently bringing Steve Jobs back into the fold. At this point, Apple was a tangled mess with dozens of overlapping product lines. The historic turning point occurred during a meeting where Jobs walked up to a whiteboard and drew a square divided into 4 quadrants: consumer, pro, desktop, and portable. He eliminated all redundant projects, laid off thousands of employees, and declared, "We're only going to focus on these 4 products: but we're going to make them truly excellent. It was a ruthless yet brilliant decision. He eliminated waste to concentrate all resources on streamlined efficiency. He even shook hands with enemy Bill Gates, securing a life-saving $150 million investment for Apple. Then, he launched the iconic Think Different campaign, celebrating the crazy ones, the rebels. This was more than just advertising. It was a declaration of Apple's rebirth. In 1998, the iMac debuted with its colorful, translucent plastic casing, shattering all conventions of the boring beige computer. Apple was profitable again, but more importantly, Jobs had taught Apple and the world a crucial lesson. Focus is the key to power. Don't do everything. Do one thing better than anyone else in the world. He transformed Apple from a mere hardware company into a cultural icon, a place where technology intersected with art. With the ship now steadily steered, Jobs began to guide Apple further out to sea, conquering unexplored oceans. In 2001, the iPod arrived with the promise of 1000 songs in your pocket, effectively killing the CD player and completely transforming the music industry. In 2007, history repeated itself with the unveiling of the iPhone, as Jobs declared, "Today, Apple is going to reinvent the phone." He was right. The iPhone wasn't just a phone. It was an internet device, a music player, a camera, an entire world miniaturized in the palm of your hand. This was followed by the iPad, Apple Watch, and the closed iCloud ecosystem. Apple ascended to the pinnacle, becoming the most valuable company on the planet. But what fueled this monumental success? It wasn't merely technology. It was the philosophy that simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. While competitors crammed in dozens of complex features, Apple opted for minimalism. They were obsessed with the user experience. From the unboxing process to the tactile feel of swiping on the screen, every detail was meticulously crafted to perfection. Jobs believed that users don't know what they want until you show it to them. Apple doesn't sell products. It sells emotion and belonging. Holding an Apple product, you feel part of a group of creative, modern, and sophisticated individuals. Their philosophy of success lies in daring to say no to what's merely good, to wait for what's the absolute best. They maintain complete control over both hardware and software to ensure a consistent experience, creating a walled garden that, once entered, customers are reluctant to leave. From the brink of bankruptcy to a multi-trillion-dollar empire, Apple's journey is the most powerful testament to the strength of vision and perseverance. They fell hard, they lost their way, but they rose stronger by learning to discard the superfluous and focus on the core. Dear young entrepreneurs, your startup journey will likely be similar. There will be times when you feel the whole world has turned its back on you, when your ideas are dismissed as crazy, and you might even experience painful failures just like Steve Jobs did in 1985. But remember, the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do. Don't be afraid to fail, and don't be afraid to start over from scratch. Stay hungry, stay foolish, focus on your core value, live better than anyone else, and success will surely follow you. Which lesson from Apple's revival resonates most with you? Was it their intense focus or their think different mindset? Leave your thoughts in the comments below so we can discuss them together. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next inspiring stories. See you in the next video.